Hi scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back with another sketch layout that I am going to do. For this layout, I believe I got that sketch from DebbieHodge.com, not Deji, which is also Get It Scrapped. So these are some papers that I'm going to be using, and I really liked that distressed background paper. It was kind of like a greenish, olive green color. And so I'm just going to cut the branding strip off of that. Then I had some other branding strips that I was going to use down on the bottom, which was part of the sketch. So I thought that would be a great way to use up some branding strips, because I keep all of my branding strips. I like to use those on layouts sometimes. So here I'm going to just cut down that background paper, and I'm going to layer these photos on there. Now I'm going to cut down all of the photos. And then I'm just trying to figure out the placement that I want them on the layout. Here is the kit that I am using for all of these Christmas layouts that I've been posting, and I'm just pulling out some scraps that I could possibly use on this layout. And here I'm thinking maybe I'll use a couple of these scraps to mount behind the photos, but I didn't really like the patterns that were on them. They just seemed too busy on top of that Christmas tree paper. So here I'm just going to use some scrap pieces of paper, of white paper, and just back each one of these photos on some white paper. And then I'm going to cut those down, and then I'll place them back on the layout in the same areas that I had them before. I'm going to use that red scrap piece of paper to the right of that tall photo. And now I'm going to glue down this background paper, and then that scrap piece I will just layer behind there. Then I'm going to put these two photos at the bottom that were by the Christmas tree, and then that one will be up at the top. And at this point, I'm not really sure what my title is going to be, so I'm just kind of gluing everything down. And here I'm just looking at the sketch again. So here is where I'm going to cut down these pieces of branding strips, and I'm going to put them underneath that bottom photo. And I'm just going to start layering them and cutting them at various sizes. So I just kind of mess around with these strips for a little while and trying to figure out which papers, which colors work best together. Then I kind of started getting tired of them moving all around, so I decided to start gluing them down. And so here I had to pull up a little bit of that bottom paper to get it to go under, and so now I'm going to start doing that with all of them and kind of ruffling the bottom edge. So I use that beige snowflake paper, and then the very last one is going to be a repeat paper. It's going to be that diagonal stripe that I used up there above the red snowflake. And I had to cut it down a little bit because it was a little too long, and I'm just going to stick it under that beige snowflake paper. So here I am just kind of messing with the bottoms, trying to make sure that they're all sticking up a little bit to give that dimension feel. And I really, really love how that turned out. So now I am going to start embellishing the rest of the layout. I had this extra piece of that branding strip, so I'm going to put that right there. I'm also going to put down some enamel dots. I'm going to use red and green. And there's Tinian. He came to visit me, so he's helping me pick out which ones to use. He really wanted me to use some white ones, but I didn't want to use the white, so I told him to put them back. Okay, so now here he's going to help me glue down all of these enamel dots. He wanted to put one down himself, so I let him. And now here I am going to pull out some different alphas to kind of play around with to see which ones I want to use for the title. I was thinking I was going to use this Heidi Swap one, but it was just a little too big. By this time I had decided on the title, and I wanted it to say, "Oh no," in like a bigger letter, but I didn't really like this alpha for it. It was just a little too big. So I decide, well, I guess apparently I was going to do it that way, but since the background was kind of so busy, I needed to put it on this, like this white paper or a different paper, and I decided I don't really like how that looks on the layout. Here I am pulling out this dark green alpha and a light green. And I'm going to have it be a subtitle. So it's going to say, "Oh no, no more presents." And so I'm just kind of looking through my alphas, trying to figure out if I really want to use that Heidi Swap one. And this is where I decide that I don't. So I pull out these two alphas. This one, this dark green, is from Creative Memories from like 12 years ago. And so I'm finally going to use this one. I pull out my wax paper and I'm going to put it down on the wax paper so that I can kind of play around with the placement and figure out how I want it to look. So at this point, I'm still thinking I'm going to use that white scrap of paper to put the title on. But I'm going to end up not doing that because I just really don't like the way that looks. But I'm going to put down the next part of the title. So it's going to say, "Oh no, no more," in this light green color. And then I'm going to grab the dark green that's over to the left there and write presents. Okay, so here is where I decide to pull off that white background piece, and I'm going to reposition the alpha. I could have just cut the wax paper apart, but I don't know why I didn't just do that, because that would have been easier. But anyway, so here I put presents down there at the bottom, and then I'm just going to scoot "Oh No" over. And I'm still thinking that I'm going to have "Oh" be on top and then "No" be on bottom. But that's actually not how it turns out. It's going to look like that on the end of the layout. So this title took quite a while. I don't know why. Sometimes you have titles that just go together really fast, and other times your title, it just takes up most of the time, which I think is what's happening. This layout is taking a long time because of the title, because I just kind of fidget around and can't make a decision. So now here I'm putting down the "No More" part to the title, and I had to end up scooting over the word "more" because it wasn't over far enough. And I'm going to have the word "no" go kind of onto the photo. I think it's actually just the "O" that goes onto the photo. Yeah. So there, the title is finally placed down. So now I can move on. That's exciting. Okay, so now I have a couple word stickers that I'm going to place by each one of these photos. That one that I just put down says "Remember," and then this next one is going to say "Document Today," which I guess I fiddle around with this other sticker first before placing the one on the bottom left or bottom right hand photo. Then I'm cleaning up the alphabets just a little bit to give me some more space, and here's where I put down "Document Today." I was going to put it up there, but then I decided I didn't like it there, so I'm going to put it down there underneath that bottom right hand photo, and now I'm going to put away those alphas. Now I'm thinking that it still needs a little bit more, but I'm not really quite sure what I want it to say. So I pull out these, I think they're from Authentique. They're just some Christmas sayings, and I was thinking I was going to do, some more Christmassy sayings on the layout, but I actually don't end up using this. And it's too small for me to see. I don't know if you can tell what words I'm picking out, but my little preview image here is too small. I can't tell, but anyway, I don't end up using them, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm not sure. I'm just kind of sitting there thinking what I want to do. So this layout really wouldn't have taken this long. Let me see. It only took, let's see. Oh, I guess it did. It did take a while. It took 1 hour and 4 minutes for me to create this layout. So if I didn't do so much, like just sitting around thinking, it probably could have only taken me 30 minutes. Because this was a pretty quick layout once I actually stuck everything down. But so here I'm just kind of going through a bunch of embellishments and not really sure what I should add to this layout. So I'm just, I think I'm just kind of lost. At a loss for what to do. I wasn't really liking any of the embellishments that I was thinking of using, and so, yeah. So here I pulled out these Dear Lizzie gold and white little letters, and I am going to write up above that photo in the top left-hand corner. It's going to say, "But we do have candy," since that picture of Brennan is him reaching for some of his candy. So I thought that would be kind of a fun little subtitle. So I don't know if it's weird that the actual title is in the middle of the layout and then the subtitle is above it, But I was okay with it. It didn't bother me too much, so I just did it. So that is going to be the last thing that I put down on this layout, and then I am done. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I will be back again tomorrow with another February scrap stash kit layout, so you can come back and see that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.